So I have 3 Hermès bags in my current collection, all bought through different points of purchase channels and paid for through different methods. Here's what I learned from each experience, so please keep watching to learn more about how I came across each bag, how I paid for them, how much I paid for them, and what I'll be doing differently in the future. Hello and welcome to A Briefcase of Luxury. I am a full-time business strategy professor, so you'd think I know all about optimum decision making. Yet like many of you, I am on this journey of fixing unhealthy mindsets and spending habits, especially when it comes to my weakness, luxury items. Hermès is the creme de la creme for any handbag lovers, and for the longest time I shied away from them for 2 main reasons. One was simply the price. In the past, the price of one Hermès bag could get you 2 to 3 bags from other luxury brands, and that's changed a lot recently. And as that price gap between Hermès and some of these other major brands like Chanel and Louis Vuitton continue to get smaller, making that leap to Hermès really isn't that drastic. The second reason, honestly, has to do with lifestyle creep. I'm finally at that point in my life and career where I have more disposable income, so putting aside funds for an Hermès purchase isn't near as painful as it used to be, and it doesn't take near as long either. Interested in what else I've bought? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm not going to do a full review on all of these bags either, because that video would be way too long. But again, if you are interested in a review and a comparison of these bags, please let me know down below as well. Figured I'd talk about my bags in chronological order. So first is the Picotin 18 in Clemence leather in the color Noir with the Palladium hardware. Now this is my first bag, and I bought this direct from the boutique for $2,875 before tax. Now I got this the very first day I met my SA, so I know that's pretty crazy. And it's not like I just walked in, got the bag, and left. We did buy other things that day. Between my husband and I, we bought some shoes, ready to wear, and other stuff from the home goods department. And it really wasn't until the end of our little shopping trip when my husband was in the fitting room where my SA and I started to have the bag conversation, and it was just between the both of us. I actually asked if she had any Herbags available, and she didn't. And I'm not sure if it's because she felt bad that she didn't have a lot of the things we were looking for. She was able to order some of it, but not all of it. Then she was the one who asked if I'd be interested in a Picotin instead. I was worried it was going to be in some crazy color because she was the one who mentioned it first. So when she said she had it in black, I immediately just said yes. Now, to be completely honest, the Picotin in the size 18 wasn't on my radar. And that's because I already do have the Prada bucket bag, which in my opinion is a little bit more functional. It is in nylon, it cinches shut at the top, it has a crossbody strap that comes along with it. And so according to my own curation principles, a black Picotin in a similar size as the Prada bucket bag would have been redundant. But I think I can see where everyone is coming from. It's hard to turn down a bag when you're in the store, especially if it's your first time working with your SA. And it's a sought-after bag in a sought-after color, so I don't have any regrets about getting this bag. Now, in terms of how I paid for it, since this was the very start of my Hermès journey, as you would call it, I didn't plan on buying the Picotin that day either. I actually put this purchase on my debit card. So it just came from my daily spending fund and not like a separate luxury purchasing fund, which I have since now started. Next is the Herbag. Now this version is the Vache Hunter Criss Viking Herbag in beige and natural sable. And so it's the one with the thicker woven canvas material. And this one retails for $2,675 before tax. I actually bought it from the Hermès website. Now for those of you who haven't tried shopping for bags from the Hermès website, let me tell you, it is a sport. So be prepared mentally and emotionally. I saw it several times on the website, but I was never able to add it to the cart. I started to look into it to figure out why the heck it wouldn't let me add it to cart, and then I realized that bags on the Hermès website only last for seconds before they're snatched. So you either have to be really lucky or subscribe to some sort of web tracking notification software to let you know that Hermès has a new drop. So for a couple of weeks there, I literally had the Hermès website open on my desktop as I worked so I could do random checks throughout the day. I saw Picotins, Kellys, and Constance to-go wallets. and all sorts of things pop up from time to time. It was actually really exciting and fun. I would always try to add to cart, but was never successful. I did it so often, I just had zero expectations I would ever be able to buy a bag from the website. And it was extremely late one Friday afternoon, which most drops happen in the middle of the week around lunchtime, and I just decided to do one last refresh, and this popped up, along with like 30 other bags, which was huge by Hermès standards, and my heart died a little bit. They dropped a ton of Herbags and Picotins in all variations and colors, and I actually took my time browsing because, again, zero expectations, right? I've been conditioned. And I figured I'll just try to add it to cart, and it's just gonna pop up the same old message saying that it's no longer available like it's done so many times before. And I was so shocked that it actually added to cart, and that's when I went into sprint mode. I didn't want the website to change its mind, so I immediately paid for it with a stored credit card on file. The entire transaction, once I added this to cart, was over in less than 5 seconds. In terms of how I paid for it, at this point, I've started to build a luxury spending fund, so even though I did put it on a credit card on file, I was able to pay it off immediately from that fund. I now, however, try to stay off the website just because it can get a little addicting to see what you can add to cart, and I just don't need to tempt myself that way. Last is my Birkin 35 in Togo leather in the color Raisin with Palladium hardware. Now this bag is the only pre-loved bag I have in my small Hermès collection. In my general collection, really, I think I have 2 other bags I bought pre-loved, but all the rest I bought from the boutique. And so I bought this bag through Fashion File, and it was originally priced at $12,000, but I'm guessing it's been listed for a while. I had an alert set on it, so when it hit 20% off, I went ahead and pulled the trigger. It was approximately $8,800, and it's still the most I've ever spent on one single bag. Now, I do have a wish list going on at Hermès, and not for the Birkin 35. I feel like of all the quota bags and sizes, buying the Birkin or Kelly in the size 35 pre-loved is definitely the way to go. Because you're going to be paying over $15,000 for a new Birkin or Kelly 35 from the store. While on the pre-loved market, you can find these larger size bags for below retail price, even in very good or excellent condition. So considering I'm so new in my Hermès journey, I knew it was going to take a long time before I got a quota bag, and that I wasn't going to waste my wishlist bag on a size 35. So the pre-love route was honestly the best decision. And surprisingly, of all my Hermès bags, this is my most used since it fits my laptop. I use this almost daily for work. At the same time, because it is used, I'm not afraid to really use it either, so it hasn't been babied by any means. Fashion File has their luxury layaway option where you just have to put a % of the price down to reserve the bag, and as long as you pay the rest off over 60 days, there's 0% interest and they'll send you the item once it's paid off. If it's not paid off by then, or if you decide to cancel, it's just a 10% cancellation fee, just FYI. And so that's what I did. I put down the initial payment of just under $3,000 and paid off the rest within the time period. Basically, every time I got my paycheck, I took the amount I would normally put into my luxury fund and used it to pay off the bag a bit at a time. Now, I can also see this being dangerous since it does make the purchase seem less big, if you know what I mean. But if I ever wanted, let's say, the Kelly 35 as well, this is definitely the option I'll go for in the future. Plus, I didn't have to pay taxes through Fashion File for the state I live in, which is incredible for this size of a purchase. Now, when it comes to Hermès moving forward, I think I'll be reserving my purchases for the boutique only, as opposed to the Hermès website or pre-loved, unless it's the Kelly 35. That's the only bag I would consider purchasing pre-loved again, only because you can get it for less than retail. I mean, granted, because I don't pay taxes on sites like Fashion File, interestingly, I would have had to pay taxes for sites like The RealReal. I do try to look at the overall price to see if I can get any deals that would cost less than retail, if I factor in taxes as well. But still, you're going to be paying a premium for virtually every other Hermès bag, and in my mind, these bags are pricey enough. And because they are so pricey, I also don't want to be trigger happy with buying bags off the Hermès website, because you literally have seconds to make a decision. So the game plan for me is just to be patient and wait until the right bag comes along at the store. That way, I can also solely rely on my luxury funds to make these purchases as well, and I can plan those well in advance. So I'm not stepping foot in Hermès until I have enough money in my luxury fund to cover the cost of a quota bag and then some if it happens. If, like me, you are also on this journey to being a more mindful luxury consumer and you find this content helpful, please consider subscribing to this channel and tapping the notification bell so we don't have to go through this journey alone. Until next time.